Hey, what's up, y'all? I wanted to talk about and dissect the Duncanville Carver game from last night. Um, Plenty of y'all tuned in to the stream. First of all, it was a really quality stream despite the announcers not having the Carver guys' names correct. It's fun to watch. The entire tournament this weekend I thought was really well put on, and our Louisiana teams, Carver and Zachary, I think both got better. But a few things that I was thinking about and wanted to talk about, as far as playing a team like Duncanville. First off, I don't really see the benefit in a team like that playing regular high school teams. I don't think it makes Duncanville players look good. I don't think it makes our players look good. I would have much rather have seen Carver and Zachary play each other, and then Duncanville, go play a team like IMG or Oak Hill or something. Having said that, I don't think there's anything wrong with being humbled, and I think this is it's a good experience for guys on the Carver team and Zachary team, many of whom are going to go play basketball at a super high level in college, to be introduced early to this type of experience with crazy, tall, long athletes who get after you defensively, who are incredibly skilled. And so, yeah, I just wanted to take a look at the game, a little bit of the game, and see how our guys could improve. Going into it, I will say that, I don't think the officials did a good job with handling this, because if it was ever going to be any type of contest, Carver was going to need all their guys on the floor, and Willie Anderson, Solomon Washington each got in foul trouble very early, which Carver had never had any shot after that. Duncanville, on the other hand, they can afford to have a guy get two quick fouls and then send in another 6'10" guy behind him to replace him. So I think that was tough, especially for the Carver guys. And then the other thing, you saw it in the Zachary game too. They start off the game strong and active and playing their style, and then once Duncanville gets on a roll, it's just like Carver and Zachary do to other teams. Once they get on a roll, you kind of psych yourself out, and then you stop playing the way that they normally play. A lot of what happens then is one-on-one, and trying to go 1-on-5 against Duncanville that's never going to work out. And you can see in some other examples of teams that Duncanville has played, like watching Duncanville Kimball, for example, the other day. Kimball is obviously another very good Texas, huge school, great basketball program. But you see them employ pump fakes, backdoors, just subtle things that get these athletes up in the air. And it's the same things that if a team was trying to beat Carver, that you would do to them. So I think it's informative, and I think it's important to kind of see things from both sides. I think it'll only make Carver as a team better. Same as Zachary. I don't think these guys are going to hang their heads and just curl up in a ball and just say, I don't want to play basketball anymore just because you got your butts whooped. Like, that happens. It's just basketball. But I do think it's important for especially guys that are going to go play at the next level to see that no matter how big a stud you are in your city, in your state, whatever, when you're playing basketball on a big stage, there's always going to be someone either as good as you or better than you. I mean, even someone like LeBron James, even someone like Steph Curry, you have an off night and you get whooped up, by Jordan Poole, Darius Garland. It just, there's too many variables for you to just be the best all the time and be better than anybody in the world. It's just not going to happen. So what I was thinking from watching this game is, if I'm a top Louisiana player, what's going through my mind is I got to get better. I got to get better with the form of my jumper. I got to get better with my handles. I got to get tougher. I want to defend like these guys. And so instead of looking at it and making excuses for our guys, I think it's just a good opportunity to create a learning spot for it, see what we can glean from it. So Let's go ahead and have a look at the game. So Carver starts off. Let me mute this. Of course, I'll blow it. So Carver started out the game right from the jump, running their set. Sorry, I was just trying to mute these cats. All right. So Carver started off the game running their sets. You can see they had a decent game plan. They were spreading these guys out, bringing someone to flash high. There's Hicks. I love the offense. I think it's interesting. And in this case, you see this is one of the main like cogs in the machine that is Duncanville, is that they put so much pressure on you at the point of attack that they let you make your own mistakes. They force you into unforced errors, as they call it in tennis or something else. In this case, just simple motion. I think this is a decent cut from Nathan. Lawrence Nathan passes it back to Jalen. And if Nathan keeps running here to clear out kind of over by Solo over here, this is a decent driving lane for Jalen Hicks to drive to the right side of the floor. And he's got, I think that's Hardaway's kid on him, yeah. But he's so excited, he's so worked up that he drives right into his own man. And this is just one of those, this is psyching yourself out, It's a good jab step and he gets a little headroom on him, but run right into your own man when you have all of this space over here. So he runs right into his own man, and that's just easy. And then all this, first possession of the game, and you get Duncanville out and running. You're scrambling to get back, not matched up. So now they got decently open look, and luckily they miss it there. Not sure where the foul was. Watch these Duncanville guys just pick up full court. They never give you a break, never give you a playoff. But I think Carver's used to this. I don't think they were intimidated by that. Another thing that was really apparent from this game was offers are going to start coming in from my man, Willie Anderson. He proved his ball handling chops in this game extensively. It was impressive the way he was handled the rock against such pressure. So Carver getting into their set. Horns. And I'm not sure if I've seen this type of offense from Carver before. But when you have guys, every one of these Duncanville guys is basically face guarding. And when you have that, Coach Roche kind of bringing all of his run out of 5 out almost and just kind of cutting across the lane is going to create a number of opportunities for Carver to do what they do best, which is drive. So Solo gets a drive here on Holland. And this is, we call travel. This is something right here where I think Solomon could get better, is he's always looking to spin back. And this is kind of just, this is what you see at the high school level, which is doing the same thing over and over again. In this situation, either spin back and then reverse, or just keep going to your right, I think. If he didn't travel, he made the right pass and finding Jalen. But also, if I'm Solomon here, I'm waiting to drive until my man is out. Trying to drive against such a good defense when you have your own man bringing another man across the lane right here is just asking for trouble. You can see Kimball. You can see Duncanville has a guy in the paint. So if you wait a second, wait till Hicks goes through, drive inside and maybe engage 22, you have a pass out to the corner over here to probably Willie for a 3. Or maybe you engage Eric right here and you get a shot for Nathan. If you spin back, Holland's probably a good enough defender to be able to guard it. He ends up getting a travel, which I don't think that was a travel anyway. Carver picking up full court, which this is what happens. You get a stop and play and you're able to set your defense. That's when offense becomes a part of your defense. And Carver being able to score would have helped their defense a lot because Duncanville loves to get out in transition. Here, that is great defense by Willie Anderson. Picking up Anthony Black full court. This is a great player right here. Stays in front. And that's just really great finishing by a kid who's probably going to be in the NBA in about a year and a half. You see Carver's and basically not much help. And that's, they make those shots. That's one of those where you got to just give it to them. But this is another thing. I mean, this is Willie Anderson's first foul. Do we think that's a foul? I would say that's probably a foul. I mean, I can't hate on the refs too much for that one. This kid Anthony Black is he's the real deal. People really like Ron Holland. Anthony Black was the kid for me who stood out. And picked up full court. Here's Anderson bringing the ball up. Full denial. They're denying Finister over here. Solomon pops up to create an outlet for his man, which is excellent. In these situations, I'm not sure exactly what their offensive system is, though. But when you're playing guys who are face guarding you and you have 5 guys basically in full denial all over the court, screening is going to be your best friend and back screening. And the screener is going to be the guy to get open. So if I'm playing against this defense, and granted, I would never want to, but I'm finding great shooters on my offense and screening for them. Because if the defense, like Duncanville has probably done a scout before, they're going to be looking for shooters all over the floor. I set a screen for him and dash towards the basket. You have tons of space here, tons of space. And you see this when Carver is playing other teams or Zachary's playing other teams. Everyone is so focused on getting that initial pass. There's so much ball pressure. There's so much denial. You get frazzled, you psych yourself out, and you forget about all the room right near the basket. And this is a situation where high school kids often forget. It's kind of like soccer, where you're not just cutting to get open for yourself. Any cut, any movement on the floor, you're working as a unit, as a team to help other people get the ball, to help everyone out. Defenses like this that put so much pressure on you, like I said earlier, they're trying to get you out of your stuff. They're trying to force you into unforced errors. That doesn't make sense, but they're trying to create unforced errors. That it makes the offense really difficult to function if you're not all working together. And you see putting pressure on teams like that makes it so that if you don't have that ultimate trust in all 5 guys out there, you're going to start trying to do it on your own. And that's how Duncanville will create huge lead right off the bat and kind of put the game to bed early. Dribble handoff there is fine. That's decent drive there by Willie. In my opinion, in this situation here, trying to drive when the defense is set is not going to work very frequently. I'm trying to get 4 or 5 passes and then wait till someone is hitting me with a closeout and then driving. Patience in these situations is crucial. If I have the ball, I'm dribbling out front and everyone's looking at me, they know exactly when to help. They can stay in front. It's very easy for a defense like that. It's basically a shell drill at that point. So be patient. This is another thing. Ball fakes are going to be your best friend. Kind of one-handed or lazy lob passes are not going to work, even when you got throw them up to solo. Look at this defense by Holland. That's just, if I'm, the basket's behind me and you're looking out this way towards half court, that makes it very easy on the defense as well. Love this action. I mean, every high school team could use this. They know that Carver, this is something that if I'm Carver, I would use against Duncanville. You said, watch, kind of a flex screen almost. And then my man's going to come up, flash high. He knows that Willie is basically face guarding Black, ball watching, back cut. Fantastic. fantastic play and an easy dunk. And that's 4-zip. I don't know if Carver's even gotten a shot off. This is stupid. I missed this live. That's such a bad call. Like, why would you make that call? Where did he carry? I mean, the carry might have been right here, that one, and then the referee missed it. I just, there's no point in doing that, and it just creates a bigger gap. It just makes it look like you're partisan almost. If you're an official, just let the game come naturally. It is your job to kind of enforce the rule, but it's not your job to impose your will and kind of put yourself into the middle of the game. This is the marquee game of the tournament. Everyone wants to see a decent game, and we're already coming in, hot with the buffoonery from the officials. It just drives me nuts. And yes, I was rooting for Carver, so I might be biased. It's good defense by Carver right here, stopping the drive. And then this right here is just miscommunication. And I would say this is somewhere, I doubt Solomon is used to guarding perimeter guys that are his size that can step out and shoot the three. So it's going to be a good experience for him. In this case, pass, you jump to the ball and create space, right? So in this situation, someone's driving at him. You're either, depending on the game plan, you're switching or letting them go through. Kind of a miscommunication, and it leads to what I would call a kind of a BS3. Unlucky. I thought Dorian had a good game. I thought he showed kind of his worth. That wasn't good. That's tough there. Post entry. I think Solomon's got to seal him a little better here. But this is another case where you see there's just nothing easy. You have to be extremely, extremely forceful and active with everything that you do in this situation. So that's 7-0, first time out. Unlucky, and it also could have been worse. Not sure, but I don't think Carver's yet taken a shot. So a little psyched out so far. Good post up. This is good defense by Willie Anderson, guarding someone who's given up height too. I love that Carver's not doubling there, but what happens here? Take his eye off, fake pass. Yeah, just got him with the fake pass. And he misses the easy one. And it kind of balances out luck and fortune there. Probably a travel. Solomon will usually dunk those. You're anticipating someone coming to block the shot, and never happened. Just play your game. Probably a travel there by Solo, but Carver gets on the board, getting out in transition, getting steals. That's what they want to do, and getting fired up. See, really good players, someone like Anthony Black, he's just like waiting to create these little advantages. He'll give you a pump fake, a jab step, and he sees Willie get up in the air, and he could have driven it there, but he was patient. But watch, something like that against such a quality player, you have to be disciplined to the extreme here. Drives it, patient. That's great defense by Solomon there. Still defending well. That is not a foul, I don't think. I saw it real time. I guess maybe he got him on the hand. I don't know. That one's tough. He looked upset about it, but I guess looking back up there, I think that's probably a foul. He probably got ball, probably got a little bit of hand. It is what it is. Now you got to play smart. Holland's got excellent form on his shot. 6'8", 6'9", shoots it like that. It's just really impressive. Now Duncanville's into their bench and still picking up full court with size, with speed, just wearing you down. Anderson does a good job bringing the ball up. Someone's got to get open there. They're going to start blowing up those dribble handoffs too. Whatever you thought was good enough ball handling at your level is going to be proven not to be good enough at this level. I'm not going to run that one back, but in that situation, there was 10 opportunities to back cut there or to set a screen, set a back screen for somebody. I used to get so frustrated as a point guard. You guys are waiting on me to get the ball across half court to start running your stuff. Lawrence, Willie, if I see my man here, I'm either going to be creating a spot for him to outlet the ball, pass the ball to me, or I am busting my tail all the way down the floor to get into my offense to the point that by the time Dorian gets across half court, he needs to have multiple options to pass the ball to. You can't wait for him to get here and stand over here with a guy 6'10", ready to jump a passing lane. You can't just sit there and watch him. Our kids aren't used to this, but this is how you get better. This is what it takes. And you have to be busting your tail offensively, defensively at all times if you want to get decent baskets. So Dorian's having to do all of this work to get it across. Gets into a great pull-up jumper. No passes. It's kind of fool's gold at that point. It's a good shot. He made it, but if I'm Carver, I want to get that off of motion, off of everybody touching the ball. This here, Lawrence got to get down a little more, but Jalen Hicks steps in for a steal. This is what they do. Looks like Willie kind of traveled there. But this is something else here. I think Willie at this point is frustrated. He's got a foul called against him. He's trying, he sees the game kind of slipping out of reach. Right here, you got to pass the ball to Dorian. Your best friend in these situations is your teammates passing the ball. You got two guys open, ready to receive. And if you trust them enough, pass it right here, go set a screen for Lawrence or do whatever your next action is in your play. And the more people touching the ball, the more people involved, the stronger you become as a unit and the easier it is to play against these guys. Instead, you're trying to drive at a guy. It could be in a charge, but it wasn't. And it's more, nobody's touching the ball for Carver at this point. It's all kind of hope you can get into the paint and find a way to get a shot. At this point, you got to dig deep and start talking to your teammates and trust your teammates. They pass it into Solo, and that's what they needed to get started. That's easy. And I think if they would have gotten more situations where you can post up Solomon away from the basket with no help, they've got Ron Holland out here defending Dorian, I guess, in a one-on-one with Solomon against, this guy's like 6'10", 6'11". I'm betting on Solomon in that situation. There weren't enough opportunities because Carver wasn't able to kind of whip the ball around and move with intent and purpose enough to get these type of situations. But those kids aren't going to jump with him. This is kind of the catalyst too, that they got Carver going a little bit. That's great help. Look at Carver moving. Great block out by Dorian and gets it over the back. It's really, really good defense by Carver there. And that's what happens when you get a score. You're able to go down and set your defense. Then you're playing like you've prepared to play instead of scrambling to try to catch up. Willie working to get the ball, gets a foul. They're holding him on the inbounds. Great job. Solomon takes off. This is another example here where everyone's in face guarding you, basically. The screen isn't going to do anything. So the space is open right here. That's where he throws it to him. Good job by Dorian. That's another hold. Might have been a foul, maybe not. It's kind of unlucky break for Carver, but also that once you get the ball in this space, they are waiting for you at half court because they want you to dribble into that space so they can trap you. That's when a retreat dribble is probably your best bet there. I think that might have been Willie's second. And in that case, if you know you're that important to the squad, I might just let that play go and not pick up my second foul in the first quarter. Here's where you clear out. Let Dorian bring the ball up. This kid 22 for Duncanville was quite a defender. It's like all he wanted to do. There you go. They're moving the ball. You can't let it stick there. So 10 right here. So watch when Dorian catches the ball here. 10, you either got to come up to catch the pass, or if he's denying you, then you need to immediately go set the screen for the next guy to come. Because Dorian needs the ability to whip this ball back over here so that he can go set a down screen for Solomon or whatever the next action in their offense is. But because he doesn't trust, this isn't a good spot for anybody. If you're up here, then you're able to catch that pass and he has to go much longer of a way. But when you're standing right here, and elbow extended, Dorian trying to make this pass, he knows better. 22 is going to anticipate that, and this kid right here is going to jump this passing lane. Kind of moves up a little closer. This still isn't good enough. If you're not open immediately, you got to do something else. In this case, I see I'm not open, or Dorian doesn't think I'm open enough. I'm setting a screen for the next guy. Because otherwise, Duncanville they're not having to work at all. They do all of this work on ball, but Carver standing and being stagnant is making it easier for them. So Dorian drives into, 3 people, and he's good enough that he can go get a finish over him. Gets Carver's defense set. That's a charge. A great job by Lawrence Nathan taking that charge one-on-one. And Carver's, totally in the game at this point. Doing a good job, I think. I think the offense could still use a little work, but I think they're definitely a little intimidated, definitely by the size of Duncanville, the athleticism. But I was super proud of Carver for how they competed. The same with Zachary the night before. That case, good job moving. See that there. Jalen's going to learn this. This here either has to be a really solid screen or just muck something up. He's just going to fly through that. See, if that's the case, then either dive to the rim or do something to make him pay for that. Right now, not setting the screen is allowing him to just waltz through your defense. See, this is such a terrible call. Yes, Solomon's driving kind of wildly, I guess, at this point. I'm so tired of this. Good on 11 for stepping in. Solomon's going this way. This kid is standing parallel to the baseline. And now, the best player on Carver's team has 2 fouls, all because this rah-rah ref wanted to make another charge call. We should outlaw this. So thought this was really going to change the dynamic of the game, and it did. But Carver didn't give up. Looks like they started packing it into a zone. 2-3, maybe 2-1-2. Duncanville recognizes it immediately. And Carver's staying on their feet. They're moving. But Duncanville is just a really, really solid offensive team. They get a good look at the rim. It's well contested by Carver. Set a hard screen here. And if you're Dorian, you need to use that screen, get your man in position, and you got to be attacking Holland off of that and do something with it. Otherwise, it's just getting a switch. And if I'm Dorian, I'd rather have this guy guarding me than Ron Holland. But he makes it work. That's a great shot and just doesn't go in. And a great follow by Jalen. Doesn't get that one to get. That one and the last Dorian shot, those both should have been baskets, and they weren't. And that's tough because that could have made it a 1-point game. Kind of missed a block out there. I guess it called a travel. And I love Roche and Carver. You can tell how badly they wanted it. They weren't giving up. They wanted, everything that Duncanville had. I love that. Lawrence bringing the ball up against this kid is tough. He's a great defender, but awesome move. Awesome move by Lawrence. Shot by Jalen, just misses it long. Not terrible offense there by Carver at all. And they're able to get back and get their defense set again. And they get another miss. And that there is, I think that's Mitchell. Just got to take care of the ball there. Kind of gave him one. Didn't end up hurting him though. And I think Roche's kind of hyping him up there. And don't play scared. It's all right. Mistakes will happen, man. I mean, especially against a team like this, you're going to make mistakes. They're going to overpower you from time to time. It's just kind of about how you react to that. And that's why I think this is a super informative game, especially for Carver. Solomon gets Howell all the way out in a one-on-one. That's a good pass. And Lawrence Nathan with a massive shot. I mean, that's nice skill there. Great pass by Solomon. Good finish. They kind of negate that three immediately. High skill level by Lawrence Nathan there. And a good job by Solomon recognizing it. I think it should have been apparent pretty quickly that Carver wasn't just going to be able to break down these guys off the dribble, especially when they're set. Like Dorian Finister is one of my favorite players. He's going to be a D1 kid. He's going to have a long career playing basketball. This is one of those times where instead of him and Willie, and I think Solomon to an extent too, they think, all right, I'm the best player on my team. I got to do this. And the way that you do it, there's more than one way to go about it. There's dribble driving, get into the basket, get into the cup, finding guys. But there's also screening. There's also blocking out. There's also attacking the glass, rebounding, cutting, backdooring. I mean, there's a number of things that you can do to help your team that don't involve just taking the ball and dribbling at your guy, especially when guys that are this good at defending. Like, even if Dorian was able to beat his man here, who's one of the better defenders I've seen at the high school level, even if he's able to beat him, he's still got four guys he's got to contend with. And it's so much work. I mean, just getting the ball across half court against this team is so much work. Give yourself a breather, pass the screen away, go find someone to help out and alleviate that pressure. So maybe you have a little more energy down the stretch, or maybe you're able to step out and receive a pass from somebody else that you've created to get an open look. Doing this is playing into how Duncanville wants you to play. And I think if you kind of zoom out and see it, look at this film from that perspective, there's a difference between imposing your will on a team and taking what the defense is giving you. And right now what Duncanville is giving you is they're all face guarding you. So if you can be patient, set screens, and be strong with the ball, you can really get layups. So the defense is set. Lots of standing. See, that situation right there, this is a great drive by Jalen. Look, he's catching the ball out. He's getting a closeout. He's attacking a closeout here. This is where you want to drive the ball. He drives. Another BS charge trying to be taken here. I'm so sick of these. In this situation, and I think Jalen would tell you, Lawrence, you got a man in between you and you need to be moving. If he's driving here, I'd probably move into the top of the key. But the play you want to make right here, Jalen, and he'll see it as he gets older and more experience, this pass to Dorian right here. This is what Dorian needs. And this is the pass you got to make. This is what they're giving you. What they're not giving you is a layup. I mean, he might make it, but that's tough. It's four guys in the paint now. Either maybe a lob to Solomon, even though Hardaway's really big, but this pass right here to Dorian, that's the play you got to make. He attacked the closeout. That's a great job getting into the paint. Now the next phase of your game, Jalen, is getting that pass up Dorian here. And still got to the cup and not much resistance either. Good defense by Hicks. Good one-on-one defense. Carver's defense is set. Great defending by Solomon there. That's not a foul. That's good defending. That's what Carver does. And I think Roche sees how aggressive Solomon continued to be. He had 2 fouls and took him out of the game. So it was 15-11 at this point, but Duncanville was just getting going. Carver at this point was worn down, tired. 2 of their best players each had 2 fouls, and had a couple of baskets that probably should have gone in but didn't. And all this being said, I still think there's a lot to learn from this first quarter. The second quarter, it really started to get out of hand. Carver didn't have all of their best pieces in there, and Duncanville was still, they were making every shot. I mean, whole weekend, they shot the crap out of the ball. But in the first quarter, Carver was still hanging with them and weren't playing well at all. I don't think so. I mean, I think Carver did a really good job defending, blocking out. But as far as offensively, I really think Louisiana teams could learn a thing or two from just watching teams like Duncanville or watching teams like Carver and Zachary. Pressure on the ball, a defense can't take away everything. There's always going to be something that they're going to give to you. And I think that we're pretty, we have tunnel vision with regards to the way that we play sometimes in Louisiana. It's one way or the other. And I think there's a lot that we can improve on skill-wise, ball handling-wise, shot making, but specifically with how we design offenses. Coach Roche has a fantastic offense that he designed and implemented specifically for this game. And I don't think that the players were really able to trust that system. They never really saw it work, but I also don't really think they gave it a shot. There wasn't a lot of movement, a lot of one-on-one play, a lot of driving into the trees. And I think this is a valuable lesson in seeing what it takes to really compete at such a high level. And it takes trusting your teammates. If you watch the rest of this game and you watch how Duncanville plays, they know that they're so good, but it's not just a bunch of individual talent. They have all of their guys shining. They're well coached. They all talk the entire time. They all engage defensively. And then offensively, you watch them, they always take whatever the opposing team is giving you. They even, you don't see a lot of high school teams who can just flow and function against a 2-3 zone. But the position that Carver went zone, Holland attacked the gap and got it to somebody in the dunker spot and just missed a layup there. Either way, it was an interesting watch, and for Carver and for Zachary, I think there's a lot to learn from this. I don't imagine that they'll probably be playing a team like this anytime soon in the future. I don't think teams like Duncanville should be playing teams like Carver. Like if you're recruiting or if you have that type of talent, I said this at the beginning of the video, I just don't see much benefit in playing, teams like we have, that we're not necessarily recruiting or getting 6'10", 6'11" guys. If I'm Duncanville, I'd rather go play, Montfort or IMG or something. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't think the refs helped either. I was definitely proud of the Carver and Zachary guys for going out there and competing, really working their tail off. And, sometimes it takes being humbled. And luckily it's early in the season for both of those teams who will definitely be back in the mix for a state title this year. So anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. That is all from me.